Hi, it's Jackie from Raise Your Vibe and Thrive Society. And in today's video, I want to be talking about working with and connecting with spirit. And this comes on the back of a question that I had from one of my members in Raise Your Vibe and Thrive. And I've just done a live masterclass in there. The question was talking about, she'd been to a spiritualist church, to an open circle, and she didn't know what she was doing. So they were saying to people, who's got something to give, stand up, give it. And she said, I was sat there thinking, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be getting? What am I supposed to be giving? When you go to an open circle, a spiritualist church, this is not a development group. The open circles are there for working mediums and fledgling mediums, which are the beginners mediums, which is the term that the spiritualist churches use for those, those on the start of their mediumistic journey. It's there for them to use that as a platform to give messages to people. It isn't there to give constructive feedback. It's not there for somebody to tell you how to connect or not to connect, or what you're doing wrong, or whether you're connecting in the right way or not. That's not what an open circle is. So if you're going to an open circle expecting somebody to give you some guidance and training and clarity, that's not going to happen. So you need to, by all means, go along and just sit with the energies, and you may get a message, and it will be a nice experience for you to sit with and watch and observe how these mediums work. You may find that you get something coming through. By all means, if you've got the confidence to stand up and give something, then do that. But don't feel any pressure at all to be giving messages. Because, like I said, most of the mediums that are giving messages at the open circles usually are working mediums within that church that you're at. Most of the churches do tend to run development groups and classes. They may be an awareness class you usually have to do first, which can be between sort of 6 to 12 weeks. Then you can move on and do more advanced courses if you want to do that. But it's really, it depends on what it is that you are wanting to work with and how you are wanting to work with spirit, because I just want to emphasize that working with spirit does not mean that you are working as a medium. It doesn't mean that you are connecting with somebody's mom, dad, sister, auntie, uncle. That is not what working with spirit is about. That is mediumship, which is part of working with spirit. Okay. I work with spirit. I work with spirit on a daily basis. I'm connecting with my guides, with ascended masters, with my spirit team. I don't work mediumistically every day, and very rarely do I work mediumistically. I may, if I'm doing readings for people, sometimes I might connect with somebody from spirit, but not always. I will be connecting with my guides, but I might not be able to describe the person that I'm connecting with, okay? And I don't put too much emphasis on that for me, because that isn't how I work. The way I work with, when I'm giving somebody a reading, I'm not giving them proof of life after death, which is what a medium does. And that's the difference between it. And we also have the psychic and the mediumistic. So every medium is psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. When you're working psychically, you're working on the energetic, the energies of that person that you're working with. So I might be able to pick up on things that's happening currently within your life. Sometimes I can even pick up on things maybe that are working or going to happen to you in the future. But it's usually about guidance with what's going on now. A medium will connect with somebody in spirit for you and will give you evidence and proof that life after death exists. So that's the difference really between the two. So when I'm talking about working with spirit, I am not talking about working mediumistically, okay? And, you know, that's not the way that I connect with spirit. I've got many, many amazing friends and clients who are mediums that do an amazing job, and they've got, you know, pure gift of being able to communicate and work with spirit. And I work with them in a different way. So I work with them, as I said, with my spirit guides. And I think this is the misconception, and this is what was coming across today in the class, was that, well, I don't want to just open myself up. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to control it. And what we have to understand is that you are in control. Okay, we control how we want to work with spirit. Now, yes, you know, your spiritual path is planned out, predestined, so to speak, and spirit will know how they are going to work with you and the best way of working with you. But fundamentally, if I don't want to work in a certain way, then I am going to make it plain to spirit that that's not the way that I want to work. Okay. So many, many, many years ago, I called up my local spiritualist church, and I said to them, I want to connect with my spirit guide, but I don't want to touch dead people. And the person on the other end of the phone started laughing, and he said, well, who do you think your spirit guide is? You know, they were on the earth plane and then died, went into spirit, and now they're your spirit guide. And I was like, right, yeah, okay. And it was amusing and it was funny, and I understood what he meant. But from my perspective, what I meant was that I really just want to work with spirit guides, ascended masters, the angelic kingdom. I wasn't really interested in bringing through somebody's mom or their dad or their uncle. That it didn't feel like my path. Although I have done that, it's not my preferred way of working. And this is what you have to understand when you're working on your spiritual journey and your growth journey, is that you have to do what feels right for you. And what might feel right at one point, in 6 months, a year, in 2 years, you might actually be doing what you said you didn't want to do. And sometimes spirit have to kind of progress and help you along the way in ways that they know is not going to make you go, right, that's it, I'm not doing any of this. Because I know that, so from my experience, you know, when I used to go to like meditation classes or spiritual development classes, and we used to meditate and we'd sit there and they would be asking people what happened in the meditation, and people would be like, oh, it was amazing, and I went on this journey and I was, you know, riding on the back of a unicorn and I went into this magical world and it was amazing. And then they get to me and I would say, I saw purple. And they'd be like, oh yeah, brilliant, Jackie, what else? And I'd be like, that's it, that all I saw was purple. Now, the people within that class wouldn't have made me feel inferior by the fact that I only saw purple, but I put that on myself. So because I didn't have any of these wonderful magical meditation experiences, I felt inferior. So I made myself feel inferior, which again kind of halted my journey a little bit. But equally, I also know it was meant to happen so that I can teach people and tell people that you don't need to have all these magical experiences in meditation to connect and work with spirit. It's not about that. It's about the feeling that you get of working with spirit. And I also know that if I'd been in a meditation and suddenly, you know, this spirit guide had appeared in front of me or spoke in my ear, I would have freaked out. I know I would have done. So they were working with me in a way that they thought was best for my spiritual path and my spiritual growth. They had to make sure that they didn't do something that was just going to make me go, oh, that's it, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't like this. I don't like this. Because that's quite possible that that could have happened to me. You know, bearing in mind, you know, I was for years and years, I wasn't even a particularly spiritual person. So I was fairly kind of a late arrival, should we say, on the spiritual path. So this really is just to get you to understand what it is about working with spirit and the energies. And this is what we also need to know, is that it is all about energy. So our spirit guides are energy. We are energy. Okay. So they're just an expansion of the energy field. Okay. So to work with them, we are lifting our vibration, and they are bringing their vibration down to meet us. Okay. And sometimes the ego can come into this as well. So when we think about our spirit guides, and again, this is sort of my belief. You have to take from this as you will. Every spiritual teacher teaches differently. But you don't need to know the name of your spirit guide. You don't need to know what they look like. You don't need to know whether they were a red Indian or a monk or a nun or some famous person. You don't need to know that, because they are energy. They are in spirit as energy. We're connecting on an energetic vibration. It's our ego. It's our ego side that wants to put a name to it, that needs to know what they look like, because that then will make us feel that we've got a better connection. When actually, what really matters is the feeling. So it's how you feel when you are connecting with spirit, when you're connecting with your spirit guides. My belief is that everybody has the ability. Okay, so we have the ability to be psychic and a medium. It's within us. We are spirit. Okay, we connect to spirit. We are spirit. We're all spirit. You know, we are a spiritual being in a human form. Okay, spirit is within us. So to say that somebody can't be a medium or a psychic is not my belief. Yes, it may be dormant in some people more than it is in others. And you have to train that sixth sense. You know, you can't just, well, some people do. There are people who don't need to train, it just automatically comes. But for those of us, particularly like myself, who wanted to develop more on that spiritual path and that spiritual journey, we have to work with it, and we have to practice, and we have to meditate. We have to sit in our own power. And this is key, is about sitting in our own power. And the more that you understand how powerful you are, regardless of working with your spirit guides, how powerful you are as a person, the energy within you, okay, that's what radiates and vibrates out, okay? So understanding how powerful, excuse me, how powerful you are and what it is to sit in your own power. And when I mean sit in your own power, sorry, I just need to get a glass of water. I'm nearly choking there. So when I'm talking about sitting in your own power, I'm talking about sitting in your own energy, recognizing your own energy, what it feels like to just sit and be present, okay? Whether you do this with music or you just sit in silence. And, you know, when we think about meditation, there are a couple of types of meditation, really. In fact, it's probably more than that. But one type of meditation is you sit in your own power. So there's no expectation. You sit and you connect with your own energy. You sit and connect with your higher self, your spirit being, okay? Or you can go into a meditation where you're asking questions or wanting guidance. And you may connect further to your spirit guide or your spirit team. So it's really crucial to understand how your own energy feels. Okay, so you just sit in silence which I know for some people, you may find that quite difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it will become. But just work on and really just be present, okay? Recognize any sensations and things that you're feeling. And that will be sitting in your own power and understanding how powerful you are. Because so many of us don't realize that we have the power within us, okay? Spirit is within us. It's within us all, okay? And we have that power to connect with that, okay? So connect with your own spirit. And then to connect with a spirit guide, remember, you don't need to know the name, you don't need to know what they look like, you just need to feel and sense and trust and believe that you've got that connection. So you get into your meditation and then you ask, protection, so put some protection on, whether you go into a bubble or put a cloak around you, and set the intention that I am working with the highest and the brightest. And then ask for either the highest of your spirit guides to come forward, or ask for the spirit guide that wants to work with you today to come forward. Because we usually do tend to have more than one spirit guide. And ask them to come forward. Give them permission. Allow them to step into your energy field. And then ask them to step even further towards you. So further than they've ever been before. Then ask them to step back. And then ask them to step forward again. And the reason we're doing that is so that we can understand or sense the difference in the energy. So the energy of them being near and the energy of them, and your own energy. Okay, so near, stand back, come forward. And then ask them for a sign. And when I say a sign, I'm talking about a communication sign. So that you know when you're working with them and when they're near. So it could be, like I get on the end of my nose, I sometimes get like tickling on the end of my nose, or I feel the energy and the vibration around my head. The 괂 chakra here, which is the occipital bone, this is the psychic center. So this is often where spirit will connect and come through. And you may feel that energy around you. They may touch your shoulder. They may pull your ear. Just ask them to do something so that you can recognize when they are near. And take it slowly. This is, it's not a sprint, this is a marathon. This is a journey. Okay. Enjoy it. Work with it. And don't compare yourself to somebody else. We are unique to us. So our spiritual imprint is unique to us. No one is going to be on the same spiritual path or journey as somebody else. It's impossible because we are unique. Two people might go to the same class and get a completely different experience. And that's exactly how it's meant to be. And one last thing that I really want to touch on is, and this is quite important. So when I was starting on my spiritual journey, it was actually before I got on my spiritual journey. When I used to close my eyes at night, I used to get faces coming at me, which was scary because I didn't know what they were. And I actually thought that there was something wrong with me. And I never told anybody because I seriously thought that they would section me if I told them, because I thought it was a mental illness or something. It wasn't until I got onto my spiritual journey I realised this was part of clairvoyance. It was part of opening up the third eye. There is some part of this where your brain is also making the images as well, but a lot of it is spirit trying to come forward and connect. So then the more I got on my spiritual journey, it then got where I'd wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning and there'd be spirit stood in my bedroom, a couple dancing in my mirror and somebody jumping on my back. And when you're waking up at that time in the morning, you don't want to be experiencing that, 'cause I want to get back to sleep. So I had to then set the intention that I didn't want that happening. And this is where I was talking right at the beginning. Do you remember when I said that you are in charge? Okay. This is your spiritual journey, and you can control spirit working with you. So I called in Archangel Michael, and I do this every night now. I ask for Archangel Michael's protection, and I ask him to be with me in my dreams so that I don't get any nightmares. And I get him to surround my house. We put it into a golden dome of light. I also get him to do that for my loved ones as well, in their respective houses. But this is the crucial part. I set the intention that my crown chakra is closed down. It doesn't matter whether you can see it closed down or you can sense it. You are setting the intention. Intention is key. Intention is everything on the spiritual journey. You intend everything, okay? So all you have to say is, I intend that my crown chakra is closed. And when I started doing that, and then I started wearing an eye mask as well when I go to sleep, even though we're working from the third eye, it still felt as if I was doing that a little bit of a block. So I do that, and I don't, very, very rarely do I get the faces, or do I get disturbed by spirit at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning now, because it's not what I want. It's not how I want to work. So just be mindful that if you are getting, spiritual experiences, that go and ask, go and speak to somebody, go to your local spiritualist church. There's a lot of fear around this. And it's always, or tends to be, the fear of the unknown. So one of the reasons, initially why I wanted to connect just with my spirit guide was because I was scared of connecting with anybody else. And to a certain degree, I still don't really want that either, because, my energy, my vibrational frequency is precious to me. And I kind of want to be in charge of who comes into my energy field. Okay? And my guides and ascended masters and the angelic realm are very, very welcome. I don't particularly want to open it up to everybody else. But we are all different, and we all progress on our journeys in different ways. And I really, I hope that you've got something from this video. Please give me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so that you get notified when a new video is coming on. And I do lots of videos on spirituality, and also about being in business as well, so spiritual businesses. So from me to you, with love.